Hey, everybody. Welcome to our post show where we sit around in our orange chairs. We talk about everything that you just experienced. I like that we have orange chairs.
Me too.
It
You
gives
don't
us
see
something-
orange chairs a lot. Yeah, I like it.
No.
It's like our thing.
It
is our thing.
It's our thing.
And they're velvet.
I know.
Yeah, they're,
It
yeah.
takes
You don't know
They're
that
soft.
a
on
lot
the...
of me to not sit here and just rub them the whole time.
Actually, pay attention to what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. We had an amazing service. I'm here with Elizabeth and Andy and Layla and myself, and we're going to debrief and talk about things. Let's just talk about what we ended with, though, that we're leading into. And it actually got me thinking of Sesame Street. And here's why.
Sure.
One of these things is not like the other.
One of these things just doesn't belong.
Did you not get the email, the memo that you got to wear your Big Surf shirt?
I guess not.
No, I guess not.
No.
No, Big Surf is coming. Big Surf is coming this week, and we are excited about that. So I just want to give an opportunity to kind of recap from our perspective, just another perspective from people who have participated, been involved with Big Surf. Give us like a highlight or a story from Big Surf that might be inspirational for people to sign up.
My favorite story is one year I got a cat.
I do remember that.
Okay,
Her name's
please,
Charlotte, and
please,
she's really plump.
please elaborate on that.
Yeah, so one of the houses that we were working at a couple years ago, this lady had a lot of cats, and she was trying to find homes for them. So I was like, oh, God wants us to get a kitty. And my
I
husband
remember
was
Tony
like,
going,
oh,
great, another
yay.
cat.
Yeah, so it was fun. I went and I got to have them all speak to me, and this little cute black and white one, she was a little spunky. She still is. She's not very pleasant.
She's like, take me
cute.
home.
Yeah, and she so we've had her. She's a great hunter. She gets all the mice and the birds and squirrels and bunnies. So
Brings them to you and
yes,
presents them as gifts.
Yes, it's really sad when you walk out into our sunroom area. There's often birds have been the latest and
So it is the Big Surf gift that continues
exactly.
to give.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's the first thing that comes to mind when I think about Big Surf. I think about my kitty.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't have a lot of inspirational, seeing people very moved by all the help. But one story that stands out to me was years ago. I didn't really know what I was signing up for. We just showed up at a house, and Mike Elkins was down in the basement, and he goes, Andy, come here real quick. And we opened a fridge, and man, the smell hit us in the face. And he and I, all you could do was laugh, and then we had to carry this fridge out. And just me and him, and it was like Ross and Chandler. Pivot. So from that point forward, anytime I ran into him, I could see him now, and I'll be like, "Hey man, remember that fridge?" And he'd be like, "Oh my gosh!" So it's weird that you can forge such memories and bonds over something this as easy as carrying a fridge out of a basement. So
Right, yeah.
that's one of the things I like most about Big Serve is just expanding your church family and getting to work with people you might not get to talk with.
Yeah,
on a
because
Sunday.
it really is a different type of interaction you get with the people. Because when you're here on Sunday morning and you're interacting with people and you're talking to them, it's all good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really confined to the environment of the church building. And when you're out helping somebody and you're sweating and you're grinding and the guards come down a little bit.
Yep.
You're in the same. You're in that that same stress environment. It's good.
I have a very different experience with Big Serve because of what my role is here. I get to go to all the different job sites and just see all the different things. So for me, Big Serve is more of a really cool opportunity just to see everything that is happening.
Tell us why you're going to all of them.
Oh, sorry. To take pictures and videos and just see what all is happening and showcase it. But it's cool because a lot of people with busy schedules can only go to one job site. So it's you only see this tiny little part of Big Serve when it's
Right.
so many different things are going on. So I really like where I get to go to all the different places. I feel a little
You get to highlight those too, which is pretty sweet.
yeah, but I feel a little there's times when I'm am I
In the
doing
way.
anything cool?
You
I'm
are.
just am I helping? But not. I'm doing something in a different way. But it is really cool to just see
You
all
are
the different
serving
things.
big.
Yes.
Well, maybe this year when you go to each site, be like, hey, is there one thing that I can help with? Maybe is there one? Can I help paint
Make it as-
something? Can I help?
Make
Can
it
I-
as
yeah, can I hit a
minimal
hammer? Yeah.
hard. Like I can't do many things.
Yes, you can.
I can
You gotta-
paint.
Yeah, there you go. See, you can paint.
I can't.
I've never seen you paint, but I'm sure you can.
I'm so good.
I think that's one of the best things about the way that we've structured Big Surf now is there are so many different opportunities, and so many of them have different skill level
Yes.
set to them. So if you're an extremely talented construction person, man, we have projects for you that really can fit, your talents, your skill set. But if you're like, man, I can't tell the difference between the two different types of screwdrivers.
Oh, those I know.
If you're at that basic level, we have sites and jobs
Plenty.
that you can be involved with too. So it's not. I think there sometimes can be a misrepresentation of where you have to be skill set wise
Right.
before you can get involved. And what we're saying is, man, you can get involved right now, regardless of where you are and your skills. We have job sites for you.
Yep.
Yeah. I had someone call the church this week and ask about like what job sites they could bring their like 3-year-old to, and like her and I talked through all the different job sites. So there's opportunities for even kids to get involved, which I think is really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, oh, like what do I do with my kids? I feel like that's a big thing. Is like there's literally job sites at playgrounds. Let them run around and you can rake mulch. Like
Yeah.
Also,
cool.
also kind of instilling a sense of serving in them from a young
Yeah.
age too.
Yeah, and we've had that historically. We've had full families,
Yeah.
kids of all ages come and help. There's definitely something that you can get and participate in.
Yep.
It's going to be very cool. Anybody remember any of the job sites? Do you remember any of them you want to share with the people
oh, I got them all. I think
in your brain?
Oh yeah.
Okay, can
Go.
you tell us some of them at least so
Okay.
people have an idea, because it's
The big
really
ones.
easy. It's maybe if we're talking in these vague kind of
Yes.
generic terms, but if we can be specific.
I got you. We got tomorrow. We have Memorial Day parade in like Vicksburg that we're going to be passing out refreshments. There's a couple different at the school, so it's like refreshing landscaping in the playground and painting basketball lines at the basketball court. There's stuff at 12 Baskets, and there's stuff at this place called Taste of Heaven. And there's a couple different home projects. This guy's going to be at one of them.
Yep. Tuesday.
There are helping at a concession stand. There is
Blankets.
blanket tying here, and I think that's like the general like gist of all of them.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of different options and opportunities.
Tons.
Yeah,
opportunities.
and there's no reason for everybody not to participate in something, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
My husband, my Tony, he signed up with Adam, or I think he's leading with Adam to do that the
Painting.
basketball courts. And I
Oh,
was like,
cool.
if they're like not even, I'm like, I don't know who did that.
Is that an outside court? Do you know?
I think it's
Yeah.
it is.
I think it's outside.
Wow,
It's
okay, that
outside
makes me
court.
feel a little better because I'm like, man, they're gonna let you guys do the indoor, like they're just letting anybody come and like paint the indoor.
Those have to
gym,
be perfect.
like, wow.
How much basketball do you think they'll play?
Yeah, right.
Also,
I know.
There'll be a couple of shots taken, I'm sure.
Very sure. Very sure. Very cool. Well, if you're interested in Big Serve, there's still an opportunity for you to sign up, and you can do that by going to our website, my3c.org. Right at the top, the first thing you're going to see is a banner, and it says Big Serve, and it's got the dates, and it's got a link right on it. You just click on that. It's going to take you to the sign up, and you're going to see a list of all of the different sites, and you get to choose which one that you want to participate in. And there are different days and different times, and which is really cool.
Yeah.
It allows for people who maybe have to work all day. They can still participate in the evenings, or there's some actually during the day. If you have any questions about any of the Big Surf sites, you can either call the church office. We'll get back to you, or we'll answer during our business hours. Or you can always fill out a Connect card, and we will email you back and get back to you that way. Big Serve. It's going to be exciting. All right. Well, we didn't just talk about Big Serve in the service. We also talked about some other things. We're into our series Almost True, where we talk about things that maybe, maybe there's a hint of truth in there, but we might mistake it or we get it a little askewed. And today, Perry had said a couple of statements that I thought were really great statements, forcing us to think. And one of them he said was, well, first, the very first thing he said was, "You are not enough."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
That was his very first slide. You are not enough. And what a way to start things off, right? But he elaborated on that. And really, what it is without Christ, you are not enough. And I think, man, there's so much in there. But I want to kind of take a look at it from a different perspective. Is how does this statement contradict with maybe what the world says, right? When we look at our lives through the lens of being redeemed through Christ, we now are of new nature. We belong to his kingdom and his purpose. We have a new focus. We see things very different. But how do we see that contradict to what the world says of who we're supposed to be?
Yeah, I know he was mentioning a lot, or a couple times at least, around like you'll hear in podcasts the opposite of this, which I was, totally get. And I love those type of like podcasts and self-help books. That's my jam. But it actually made me think of this little plaque that I have, this little home decor sign that I just put on my fireplace mantle, that something along the lines of like, realize how good you really are. And now I feel like I need to go home and like write in underneath in red with like a marker, with Christ. And I got it from Hobby Lobby. So I'm like, now I need to tell them.
Yeah.
We need to add on this disclosure to everything. Or maybe I'll go to the store. But yeah, again, this is like such a simple concept of, I don't know that I can ever hear this now without thinking without Christ, right? But I've never really thought about it from that perspective. Not that I don't agree. I mean, I absolutely agree with it, and that's how I've been raised, and I believe that. But I kind of, in those moments, especially when he was talking about the podcast, I'm like, yeah, I would like get filled up with that. And I think it's still good podcasts, and it's, it's not to say don't listen to those things or don't, you know what I mean, like partake in any of that. But it's most of the time missing the more fundamental piece around without Christ, you are not enough. So just another one of those mind-blowing moments from Pastor Perry. I love those moments in church when you're like, so simple, yet so powerful.
I mean, the world's going to tell, basically it is, if you watch anything, the world tells you you're enough. You don't need somebody else to do things for you, or just because the world's broken. And I think the world feels this, they just don't know how to express it in words. So that way they just are like, you are enough. And they're like, well, you're enough when you're made whole. And it's just we live in a very selfish world. And a selfish world says, I can do all things. I don't need help. I don't need this. I don't need that. And plus it's seen as weakness if you can't do it yourself. I mean, we live in a society now where it's like, if you can't do it, if you admit that you can't, you're weak. And I was like, no, you're not weak. If that's like, to me, that's like the most honest thing you can be, is when you go, no, I need some help with this. So it's a very interesting contradiction. So
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like, so I spend a lot of time, this is going to sound weird until I explain it. I spend a lot of time with like middle schoolers, but like well, here at youth group,
Make
but then
myself
also
feel good that I'm taller than somebody finally.
no, they're all taller than me.
I know they are. That's the best part.
Can't win. But I choreograph a lot of middle school musicals, and I hear a lot of like, because I am not close to their age, but closer than some of the other adults involved, they feel like they can share with me like the things that they're going through.
Sure.
And a lot of like this kind of concept of like, oh, like I'm not enough. It's so hard to like hear that, but it's also like, it's like this weird like battle between kids saying that like they're not enough, but then it's like all the other kids are like, oh, but you are enough. So it's like how the heck do I like be like, hey, like you can't just be like, hey kid, you're not enough, you know, like you like how do you
True.
how do you like show this or share this with someone in that like concept to where like I don't really know where my role is because it's through a school, so it's like, can I just like outright like say it? Because a lot of the times teachers can't say it unless a kid brings it up, then they're like,
Right.
you can say what like your thoughts on religion and things, but you can't be the one to share it. So it's like I feel like because of where kind of that age group and like our like students and youth is at right now, I feel like they really need to like hear this and like understand this from a young age so that they don't become like too self-reliant or feel like, oh, I'm not enough, and then like self-destruct on themselves. But then it's also like, how do you share this without like immediately being like, hey, slap in the face, you're not enough, but like
Call me, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm
You know,
really good
like,
at it.
it's
You've seen
such
me in
a-
youth group.
I don't know. I have such a heart for that age because I've been around it so much, but it's also just like it's so hard to see like what they struggle with mentally and how hard they already are on themselves at such a young age because like I'm not that much older than them, but when I was 11, I was not telling myself I wasn't enough or that I wasn't, you know, like so it's just such a thing that people really need to like hear this like message and be like, hey, like you are all of these things through Christ,
Right.
Yeah.
but it's just
Yeah, so it's very interesting because all of this comes back to your identity in Christ, but it comes back to the fundamental core principle of humanity is broken and lost.
Yeah.
Right? Through sin, we have been separated from Christ. There is something that is fundamentally missing, and I think that's the whole point of this. Right? As a human being, there's something fundamentally broken inside of me. There's something that is incomplete. That is the not enough, right?
Yeah.
That is what I'm feeling is, man, there is something missing. The world tells us that we need to be filling that with other things. And that's the message that I hear a lot. It's like, we all have this innate sense like something's just not fundamentally right.
Yeah. We all yearn for something.
Correct.
Yes.
There is that desire. And so it continues to get filled by something else. And I think that's what these middle schoolers are discovering, right?
Yeah.
Middle school is such a
It's a difficult
it's
time.
an
Yeah.
interesting
Weird
age, right?
age.
Because they're coming out of childhood and they're entering into this adolescence, teenager. They're discovering their own thoughts, their own feelings. They're discovering the world is bigger than the confines of the elementary school and what the parents, kind of could protect them with. And their eyes are starting to open and they're realizing,
And they're hearing things they've never heard before, like you said,
and they're
too.
hearing this message that they need to fill their lives with something. They're starting to hear this.
Yeah.
And this is crucial. I think you hit it right on the head. This is the time they need to be hearing that Jesus Christ is the only thing that can fix their not enoughness.
Yeah, because it's so sad because I feel like that age they're being forced to grow up too quick. Like
Sometimes, yeah.
I was watching them and how they interact and what they like, how much time they spend on their phones, on social media, and like things. And I'm like in my head, I'm like, you are 10 years old. 11 years old and you are already like comparing yourself to what the world says that you need to be like. And so it's just like, how do we like fix, like, like you can't fix that. Like that's how social media and the world is. So like, how do we get more of that out there so that's what they see instead of, oh, I need to be like this person, or oh, I'm not good enough because of
I don't
this
have
thing
this,
that
I don't look like this, I don't act like this. But
and it's just like that can be so destructive if that's all you get when you're 11 years old and then you grow up thinking that,
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
I mean, that is the call that we're given to. That is the Great Commission. That is the mission that we've all been entrusted with.
Yeah.
When we receive the gospel, we are then infused with this desire to share the gospel.
Yeah.
And the good news is how is how we combat that. And it starts by showing just an unfiltered love to these kids,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
They just need to know that somebody cares.
Yeah.
Because there might be an opportunity where they're like, Elizabeth, I'm really struggling, and I know you do stuff for your church. Like, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah.
and man, all of a sudden, boom, here's your open door.
Yeah.
And it's off to the races.
Yep. Boy, it got deep.
I know it's heavy stuff. How do you guys see social media playing into this? Because I think I think you hit it on the head with these middle schoolers, but I see it even in the
I
adult
see it in
world,
adult
right?
world.
Yeah.
I have friends that compare themselves all the time. I hear something like, "Oh, did you see this?" And I'm like, "Oh," and they send me a thing, and it's like, "Oh, if only I had that, or if I had this." I'm like, "Yeah, stuff is cool. Like, I like stuff too, but I know it doesn't mean anything without Jesus behind it." So, I think unfortunately, social media is way more. I mean, it opens so many doors, but at the same time, it's not always opening the right doors. Like, I can communicate with people so much easier than when we grew up.
Yeah.
You know, like we had to write letters if we wanted to
Send it by dove.
send it by dove. Yeah, smoke signals, like, you know, a carrier pigeon. But
No, I think that's a great point. Like, our world, we have so much more ability to communicate with the entire world, and immediately we've corrupted it.
yeah, we've turned it into the worst possible version of what it could be.
Yeah.
Like when you go on social media, there's no. Like people ask me like, why are you always so happy on like when I post something? I was like, because there's enough negativity in the world. It's like it's not that hard to be happy. Like, sure, things don't always work out great, but you can, even when something doesn't work right, you can focus on what did go well and not dwell on what didn't. You know what I mean? And that's hard with like work. Sometimes when I get done talking to somebody and I'm like, if it's the worst call of the day, sometimes you focus on that and you're like, wait a minute, I had 15 other people that were super nice and thanked me for my time, and this one person was mad, not even at me, but it ruined, you know, so
Yeah.
I think that brokenness and yearning helps us focus on the negativity instead of looking for positive things as well.
And I feel like
Thanks, Adam and Eve. Sheesh.
Yeah, as though if Adam and Eve hadn't
knew.
sinned, all of humanity would have been perfect right up
I know.
until yeah.
No-
I'm pretty
no
sure,
one else would have went
guess
to the
what?
tree.
I would
Exactly.
have screwed it up. It would have gotten all the way to Steve, and then Steve would have messed it up. So
They'd be like Andy and Steve.
yeah,
I feel like social media also is sometimes where people try to fill the void of God. Like either it's a constant, just endless scroll to either get your mind off of something or to just feel like an emptiness or whatever, or it's like a
Chasing likes and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
ooh, somebody liked my stuff, or I
and
went
it's like,
viral.
it can get so like all about me.
yeah.
And like
Yeah.
we've talked about like how like does my social media platform like represent who I am as a person, like in terms of like do I not try to like hide the fact that I go to church or whatever from it because it's not seen as like cool or wouldn't get likes or whatever. And it's just like it's also finding the balance because there's a lot of people that will then immediately the second that you start posting or sharing that will then target you and say like negative things, you know? And then it's like finding the balance of like I don't want to hide it, but I would prefer to not get comments that are like negative, you know, like I just would
It's tough.
prefer that. I know it's not gonna I know I can't
Yeah.
prevent what
I
people
think
say.
what you said though is very profound. That people use social media as a way to fill the void.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's very profound. And it came from our social media manager, who would love for you to follow us
It's
on
literally
all
my
of our
job.
social media. So
And I would
get
say
on
it's
there.
one of the better social media
You can
outlets.
fill your void with our stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing else.
That's because Christ is at the center of our stuff.
Yes.
I don't know. Have you seen Perry and Dave dance?
Ooh, yeah. Satan's definitely at work
Oh
at
my
that.
gosh.
Well, I think I love how it kind of tied a bow at the end, and his final statement really was embrace your not enoughness. And I think ultimately what that means is embrace Christ in your life, understand your identity, understand who you are, what he has done for you, and then what you're supposed to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
Yep.
So, any final thoughts on this?
I think this should be like our future Big Serve T-shirts or something. Or I used to
Embrace
see
your
this on a
not
t-
enoughness.
This is like I see it on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not a
Not
big
enoughness.
serve shirt, but
Yeah,
on a typical, yeah. Connections. Embrace your not enoughness.
Yeah.
I am
we'll
the poster
leave-
child for not enoughness.
Maybe we can leave little notes on Perry's desk every once in a while. You're not enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
With the heart.
With a heart.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us here for our post show. We are so glad that you choose to be with us on Sundays here at Connections. We love the opportunity to worship with you, to open God's Word, and then to sit down and talk about this in a real setting and understand. If you have any questions, we encourage you to submit your questions to us. You can do it two ways. One on our website, my3c.org. You can click on Ask a Question. All of those questions are anonymous. We typically answer all of those in our Q&A, which Dave and I do every Thursday. But if you want us to contact you back, if you want to connect with us and want us to reach out to you, please click on Connect. It's our Connect card. So go to our website, my3c.org, click Connect. You can fill out that form, and we'll get back in touch with you as well. So, guys, thanks for joining me today. We'll do this again real soon, I'm sure. Thanks for joining us this morning. Just remember, here at Connections, we love you. More importantly, God loves you, and we'll see you next time
We'll see you at Big Surf.
at Big Serve.